Jimmy.
Now what's worth doing is worth doing for money.
Straight from y'all street to Wall Street.
Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil doesn't make up happen.
Dudes wake up, hope their girl turned on so they can get a little bit. Only woman in the morning I wanna turn on this Becky quick. While the average man looking at this act like she fine as it. I'm over here looking at tails and whips like 5'6". I left the mayhem for the market. Now I don't want a dope spot, I want to stop it. I know that booty got dry, triggered my stop losses, but I ain't got time for your wop. My V-wops crossing. Rich with hot V's from pushing hot strategy and plans to make grand. Still in my wife beater, Batman pajamas, outside, and about 5 hot picks for the day. Cause I like the way the Dow bounces. 4 hot dips on call, so I got options. 2 with a lot of volume, 1 with a double bottle. Now I know dumb money don't understand. Am I talking about my trade or just thinking with my MACD? You see, we different in the way we move. You move with kittens and your dog, I move with bears and bulls. I got a green thumb, grow with the marijuana. Waking up with the fun, open up some commas. Jump out of bed, big profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, big profits. Light up watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs and die. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Profits. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETLs, making profits. I jump out of bed, big profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, big profits. Light up watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. See, me and Jim Cramer been talking mad money. Said today I'm taking a risk. They got the feds coming, but I got support here with me. I call a short squeeze. You get the drop, pull the trigger, and abort these. If she stay on my watch list, I might have to wife her. But I know better. I'm a true trading group lifer. Call up the Wolf of Weed Street. It's time to flip some profits. Go ahead, be hawking. Get your spot here. I'll double top that in the head and shoulders. Hit him up with this resistance. Watch him roll over. Cause I see John Wicks in contract. If I say I make $1 million a day, well, that's a large cap. You moving average, that's why you get crossed. Get split, get delisted, and knocked off. And I'm setting the whole block off. I'm buying GameStop and selling them roadblocks off. Jump out of bed, big profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, big profits. Light up watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs and die. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Profits. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETL. Hey, my family. Hey, go, what we doing, my man? And make profits. Hey, Shug, Mike, what we doing? And make profits. Yo, Wolf, Professor, what we doing? And make profits.
That TTG money gang,
And making profits.
we some snipers.
Hey, yo. What's up, everybody? What's going on, folks? Welcome to the True Trading Group live stream. We're here live for you guys covering Netflix earnings. The initial move was to the downside. I think that's the wrong move, though. And the stock is going to recover here on the back of the earnings that just came out. We'll talk about it in just a moment. My name is Michael Edward Parinati. I go by Michael Edward. I'm the co-founder and head trader at True Trading Group. In case you guys didn't know, we were a Benzinga FinTech Awards finalist last year for Best Data Analysis Tool. And now we are currently the fastest growing and highest rated premium online educational platform that combines university level trading and investing courses with premium stock market tools, live workshops, and individual mentorship and coaching for stocks, options, crypto, and futures. We day trade, we swing trade. We also cover long-term investing. There's literally something for everybody here at True Trading Group. When you guys join us, you get access to over $15,000 worth of tools, education, resources that have already helped thousands of members from all over the world to reach their goals, to become better traders. You're going to get a simplified and expanded upon version of a training program I received working at a fund in New York, not to mention access to all the different moderators, 8 professional trading mods with you each and every single day, day trading, swing trading, scalping, options, futures, core trading, you name it, we do it all. Then you get also access to all the tools, things like TradingView's premium charting software, Benzinga Pro's newsfeed, the trade ideas scanners on the platform for you guys to use, a simulator, unusual options activity, dark pool data, options flow, short data, analyst ratings, congressional trading data, our AI trading assistant, and so much more. All of that is included when you guys join the TTG family with 1,000 hours of workshops covering different topics and our video library. And also, not to mention, all of this comes with the utmost transparency and trustworthiness, knowing that the moderators and I upload our trading records directly from our brokerage accounts onto the website every single day. So you see every buy, sell, every entry, every exit, every take profit, every stop out. You see every single trade that there is. The mods and I collectively as a group have been able to maintain a cumulative win rate on all of our executions of just around 80% now, going on roughly the last 5 years. If you guys are wondering why I should listen to anything it is we discuss on this channel, it's not because I think I'm the world's greatest trader. It's because I did not figure this out on my own. I began my career working at T3 Alpha Fund in New York City, my first job at a college, where they had me go through an educational training program before they let me touch $1 of the fund's money. That's how I learned how to trade. Then 2008 happened, and that was the Great Recession, the big stock market crash. But it was also the same year I received one of the firm's Trader of the Year awards. You fast forward now, and I'm the co-founder and head trader at True Trading Group. Along with my team of the 8 professional trading mods and over 30-person staff, we've helped thousands of members all over the world reach their goals. 10,000 members in 115 different countries. The TTG fam is strong. All right, so welcome. If you guys have not yet done so, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, make sure you never miss out on any of these live streams. All right, folks, we are here right now covering Netflix earnings. Earnings are out. The stock's down 3%. The 1.7 after hours, 3% on the day, down 1.7% after hours. The conference call is going to be coming up in about 35 minutes or so. So we're going to be conference call is coming up in about 35 minutes or so, but their earnings actually were not bad at all. There's one hiccup in their earnings. Okay. There's one hiccup in their earnings. So let's jump right on into it. Let's get into Netflix's earnings. Let's kind of talk about the numbers. Okay, because here we go. They beat on earnings per share, $4.88 versus $4.75. They also beat on sales, $9.56 billion versus $9.53 billion was the expectation. So it's a beat on earnings per share, and it is a beat on sales. Okay. They also blew their new users out of the water. 8.05 million versus an expectation of 4.8 million. So you might be wondering right now, you're like, wait a second, that all sounds really good. Why is the stock down? Their ad tier membership, you guys know that they came out with that new ad tier membership not too long ago, grew by about 34%. Okay, 34%. Scaling faster than our ability to monetize our growing ad inventory. These are comments that are coming from the company. Okay. But here's the one thing that's interesting. They expect paid net additions to be lower than Q3 due to paid sharing impact. And they are anticipating their guidance for sales in the third quarter is 9.73 billion. When the analyst expectations were 9.82 billion. Why I think the stock is trading down right now is this conflicting number here in their report. And here's where the conflict comes from. If you beat the new user number and you're growing the users faster than what Wall Street expected, then why would you guide lower for the next quarter? That's where I think the confusion comes from. Think about that. So forget about they beat on earnings per share. Forget about they beat on sales, right? Because we know that really when it comes to earnings, it's really all about the guidance. The guidance is crucial. The guidance is more important than the earnings themselves because the earnings are what the company did over the last couple of months, right? Guidance is what they're going to do, what they're expecting to do over the next couple of months, right? So guidance is more important. You would have imagined if you beat analyst expectations on new users by a few million, you would have also expected then for you to beat next quarter's revenue guidance and sales guidance. So that would then insinuate that the company's having a hard time monetizing the ads on this new ad-based platform. That's how I would read it. What else could be the explanation there? I mean, that's why the company's going to have to address this during the conference call, which starts at 4:45. So at 4:45, you are probably going to hear the CEO or the CFO address the beat on the user number, but then the weak guide for the third quarter, right? Because that doesn't necessarily make sense. All right. So that's why the stock is trading to the downside. I don't know if that's is that a conservative guide, but this is not a bad earnings report. Even though the stock's down, 2% plus after hours, down 4% on the day, this is not a bad report for Netflix. They're going through this transition of trying to build out that ad tier platform and generating more revenue from this ad tier platform. They cracked down on the password sharing. That got them more users. And now Netflix is trying to focus less on the actual user number and more on the revenue and their earnings and their profitability. Some kind of similar to what Apple did not too long ago. Apple stopped reporting iPhone unit sales. So like Apple's basically saying, why does it matter how many individual iPhones we sell? What matters more is how much money that we're making from our customers. And Apple actually stopped reporting how many iPhone individual units that they sell. So you're going to be talking about Netflix trying to do something similar, trying to get Wall Street, trying to get the markets to focus more on the revenue that's being generated rather than the user base. So if you're trying to get Wall Street to view things that way, then it doesn't help that you beat on the user number, but you came in light on the guidance for the following quarter, right? So I just think that that's a question mark. As soon as those numbers came out, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me on how those numbers would be that way. But that's why I would assume, and you know what happens when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, I get it. But as I'm here live with you guys, as this is coming across, and I'm using the Benzinga Pro newsfeed, which is included in your membership when you guys are part of TTG. Even when you guys become a trial member of True Trading Group, you guys also are able to use the Benzinga Pro newsfeed. It's included in your trial membership where you guys want to check us out for 7 trading days. We do have a trial. Hold on one second. All right. So that's what I'm looking at. So the Benzinga Pro newsfeed. So Benzinga Pro newsfeed is the one that was coming out and giving me a lot of this information. Hold on. Yeah, if you guys want to join our trial, I actually have a free trial for you guys. Okay, I have a free trial for you guys. It's ttgtrial.com. That is ttgtrial.com. You guys want to check us out for 7 trading days, you can do so. Go to ttgtrial.com. All right, guys. So like I said, I just think that this Netflix situation, this is going to be an example where, listen, if this stock doesn't move from here, whether you bought calls or puts, everyone's going to lose money tomorrow. All right. So whether in calls or puts, and this stock just sits here, options were extremely expensive going into this earnings report. The implied volatility was very high. The implied move was actually $56. Okay, the implied move was $56. That's a big move, and the stock has not moved anywhere near $56. Now you still have the conference call coming up, and I think the conference call is going to be very important because of this confusion. I think analysts are really going to be looking for. Answers as to why that's the case, right? I think people are going to be looking for that. So I would expect a pretty big move from the stock around 5 o'clock when that conference call is underway. So again, it should be starting at 4:45. All right. Let's talk about some levels here on Netflix, because there are a few of them. All right. There are a few of them. One of them is right here, which is a level that we are currently underneath. Another one of them is here, which we are currently holding. And you have another one here and another one here. Okay, so here are your major support levels for NVIDIA. I want you guys to notice, where did we actually bottom out off the report? Right there at $600 on the button. All right, now $600 on the button takes you back to all of this support. Right now, you'll notice this was your first support level around like 630 to 635. That level broke. All right. Now that is a level because it used to be resistance tops. Then you broke above it. Once you broke above it, it became support. That's why that's one level. That level has been broken here in the after hours session with earnings. It's very possible after the earnings call that you could reclaim that level. And if you reclaim that level, then you roll into tomorrow and you still expect 630 to be support tomorrow. Okay. You still expect it to be support tomorrow, if that's the case. All right. But if you close today after the earnings call, if it's not enough to get Netflix back above this level, then that level is confirmed broken. And then your next support level is going to be down around the low 600s, which is those low 600s, which is this previous support level. And then it's also the earnings low. So that earnings low is pretty solid right now, guys. A $25 bounce off of that area, right? $25 bounce right off that area there on Netflix. And that's where I would be focusing trades for tomorrow. Structure trades around those levels, but I wouldn't get your heart set on a trade idea on Netflix until we see what's up with this conference call, because I expect a move, because I just think that that's a big question mark that a lot of analysts right now and a lot of traders are probably not understanding. I mean, just think about that. The street expected 4.8 million new users. And from that, they expect guidance for the third quarter of 9.82 billion. Well, Netflix gave them 8.05 million users, but their guidance for the next quarter is only 9.73. Right? Weird. So that's what Netflix is going to have to address on that call. So instead, ISRG. Oh, did ISRG also have earnings? Yes, ISRG. Nicholas says, Mike, ISRG, your favorite. Yes, I do love ISRG. ISRG is in the long-term portfolio. It's been a fantastic stock for us. Not a lot of people talk about this name. I love this company. I am bullish this company. I own it. I still own it. I plan to own it for a while. They operate the Michelangelo operating system, which is a robotic operating system, and it is awesome. It is awesome. And now, the stock recently broke out to new all-time highs the beginning of this year. You pull back in and retested that all-time high. You got confirmation of support, and then there's your follow-through. And I just feel that that's it. That's your confirmation that this previous high was your support level. And I do think that the stock has more room to the upside over the next several years. So I do like ISRG. So their earnings came in at $1.78 earnings per share. That's a beat against analyst expectations of $1.54. And their sales were also a beat. 2.01 billion analyst expectations, 1.97 billion. Netflix. So here's these comments from Netflix is, don't expect advertising to be primary driver of our future revenue growth for 25 and 26. So these are the comments that investors did not necessarily want to hear, right? These are some of the comments that investors did not necessarily want to hear from Netflix. And that's why the stock is down 2.8% after hours, it's down 3% on the day, 2.5. It's trying to bounce itself back now. Oh, nice. Memphis Street Doc. Memphis Street Doc had your knee surgery with with the Michelangelo. I call it, it's Da Vinci. Michelangelo, Da Vinci. I don't know if I call them. Is it Da Vinci? That was Michelangelo or Da Vinci. Might be Da Vinci. I think you're right, actually. I think it actually is Da Vinci. I don't know why I was saying Michelangelo. You might be right. I think it is the Da Vinci. Is it? Let me see. Yes, it is Da Vinci. Why did I say Michelangelo? Say Michelangelo. Oh, it's been a long day. Michelangelo. Yeah, Michelangelo. It's a Da Vinci. You are correct. Thank you for that, Ubermensch. It is actually the Da Vinci robotic systems. Michelangelo, Da Vinci. Similarities there. All right, so we'll see if we get any action with Netflix from that conference call. That conference call is going to start up in about 20 minutes. Wrong Ninja Turtle, I know, right? Let's see. My daughter's in the Sim Lab Tech. That is one of her vendors. Nice. Yeah, no, they're a good company. You know, ISRG is a good company, and I own them. I've owned them for a while. We added to them just recently. I forgot, was it 22 or 23? I forgot even when I added to this. Any of our members, do you guys know? I don't remember. I don't even remember when I added to this thing. If it was 22 or 23. I forget. I think it was 23. I could be wrong. I think it was 23. But it was somewhere in like the mid 200s is where I think is where I added. The low 200s or something like that. I think it was the low 200s, if I remember right. It goes to show you, I don't really pay attention to my long-term portfolio. Just when I buy stuff in there, I add stuff when stocks I like go down. I add to it, and I don't really necessarily care. The problem that I think a lot of investors or amateur retail investors, the big problem that a lot of them make is that they try to time the market so perfectly, and they really don't ever want to buy a stock and have it go down after they buy it. And if you try to time the markets like that, you're never going to get it right. You're going to miss out on every opportunity. You're going to underperform the markets drastically. And I just think that the best thing for you to do is to just, when you have a stock that you like if you like AMD, if AMD pulls back 15, 20%, you just buy it, right? You just buy it. It pulls back further, and now it's down 35, 40%. You just buy some more. For stocks that you like in the long-term portfolio, I don't try to pick the bottom. Any professional that does this for a living will tell you that they don't try to pick the bottom. They don't try to pick the top. So if professionals can't do it, and professionals don't try to do it, then neither should you, right? Just believe in the long term on companies that you like. 2022 was a horrific year for ISRG. ISRG went from $360 down to $180. That's a 50% drop. It's a 50% drop from 360 to 180. 50% in 1 year that stock went down. And then now here we are, just less than 2 years later, and the stock's 442. So you just, when you like something, you buy it and you own it. Have you done research on ticker NNE? I actually have not. This has been a ticker that a lot of people have asked me about recently because it has, it made a hell of a move in June. The stock has fizzled out now. I don't know anything about the company. So the first time that I ever even saw this company and heard of this company was in June when the stock was like breaking out to like $20 or whatever it was. Prior to that, I'd never even heard of this company. So I don't know anything about them. I don't even know what they do. The name of the company is Nano Nuclear Energy. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what they do. It's obviously a nuclear energy company, but which I'm bullish on. I'm bullish on nuclear energy. I have been for a while. But like I know CCJ, I know BWXT, I know like the uranium ETF, but I don't know anything about NNE. So I wouldn't be able to give you my thoughts or a grade on NNE from a fundamental standpoint because I just don't know enough about the company. Is it going to be like ARM? I don't know. I mean, that would be sick if it is like ARM, because ARM is an absolute rock star, but I just don't know anything about NNE. I'd have to take a deeper dive. I have to take a deeper dive into it. Right. All right. So here's Netflix now starting to recover. Right. See, it's starting to recover. So that's why I kind of said to you guys, when I first came on the live stream, it was right when earnings had come out, and I was just coming on live, and the earnings had just come out, and I really didn't have all that much time to take a look at Netflix's earnings. But I said, it's not a bad report. There's just that little confusion there with Q3 sales. Everything else is a beat. Even their earnings per share for the third quarter, they guided higher on their earnings per share, $5.10 or $5.12 versus $4.80 and change was the analyst expectation. So you guided higher on earnings per share. They beat on users, they beat on sales, they beat on earnings per share. They just guided lower on sales. So we'll see. We'll see what that reaction is. But right now, this is going to be a premium suck for those call and put options. If you're in calls and puts right now, and this stock just opens up at 6:30 tomorrow, everyone's going to be losing money. You'd have to put on an iron condor or something in order to make money from this move, which you could have made a lot of money if the stock is going to just sit right here because the options were extremely expensive going into the print. IV was very high. Very, very high. Chris Mayer says Netflix double topped, LOL. This is a very strong double top at your all-time highs. But why is that funny? What is the LOL? Very strong double top on Netflix. If you guys take a look. So Chris, you are correct on the double top. It's about as strong of a double top as you can have. You guys can see it here, double top, double top. There's one top there back in 2021. And then you had the massive crash. This is such a crazy looking chart. When you really think about it, this thing went from 700 to 160 back to 700. That's absolutely insane to see that. Absolutely insane. And yes, that double top is firmly in place there against 700. And now you have their earnings and trading back down now towards 633. 633. Again, very important conference call coming up, guys, in about 14 minutes for Netflix. Let me see what else we got cooking here. Just going to go through some of the rest. There's not too many earnings here today, guys. There's not too many. It really was, ISRG, Netflix. Ooh. No, that's from earlier today. Just going through all the rest of my. No, these are small companies. I'm just going through all the earnings, see if there's anything in here that I see that I think is worthy of talking about, or a stock that I trade, or a stock that I think could give us some action tomorrow. No, ISRG and Netflix seem to be the only ones. These are all some smaller companies. You have a lot of companies announcing their dates today, like Coinbase, Datadog. They're announcing their dates. MRTN had earnings. That's not a big deal. Nobody really probably even knows about that company. Plug did a $200 million offering. Do I think tomorrow is another down day or a bounce? I assume you're talking about the overall market. I think, so here's what I was talking about today with our members inside of chat. I think that we are about to embark on a sustained pullback in the market. I think that as you get into August and then, further into September, I expect the markets to pull back. I think it's more likely that you're going to see the S&P at 540 than it is you see it back at 565 all-time high. So I think we're going to have a red month of August or a red month of September, maybe even both being red months. I think a pullback here is coming, not just because the markets are red the last 2 days, right? Not just because they're red the last 2 days. I just think that we've only had a 5% or so pullback so far this year. That was April. Historically, on average, there's at least a 12% pullback in the market during any given year. The exception to that was 2021, 2019. You didn't have anywhere near a 12% or a double-digit pullback. Your biggest pullback in 2021 was like 3.5%, and then you finally got a 5% pullback, but that didn't happen until like November into December or September. It didn't happen to the end of the year. This year we've had one pullback in the market literally the whole year. And that was this. Literally, it's one pullback. That's it. That was the only pullback you had so far this whole calendar year, right? There's January of 24. You can see up, 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 one red month, one pullback, April. Then you just get right back to new highs in May, right back to new highs in June, right back to new highs in July. You've had one red month so far in 2024, and you've had one sustainable pullback as well. I think that changes going into August and September. So I'm looking for actually the markets to pull back further down into this region. So when someone asks me, hey, do I think tomorrow is going to be another red day? Do I think it's going to be a bounce? What I think, and we talked about this today, and a lot of our members made some really good money on a scalp trade today off of this level. We do everything in True Trading Group. We day trade, we swing trade, we scalp, we do core trading, we do long-term investing. We literally do everything. There's 8 professional traders with you every day. We all have different styles. We all call out different types of trades. And we identified 550.5 in the SPY as a very important level where I felt that we were going to get a bounce off of because it's your previous double top all-time high. So you had this double top all-time high here at the end of June, right? This was a very strong and clear double top. You had this very high volume day. I forgot what the catalyst was for this day. There was a catalyst day here. I forgot what it was on this day, but you created this double top and it was broken in the very first week of July. That never was retested. Then you extended in July. We got very overbought up here. I came on my live stream on this channel last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week. I came on and I was telling people, I'm like, hey, this market is feeling overextended to me. This market's feeling expensive. It's feeling overbought. And I started talking about looking for a pullback going into August and September. I didn't anticipate geopolitical concerns over the weekend about semiconductors, and, the Biden administration made some comments about semiconductors and China. Trump made comments about Taiwan and Taiwan Semi and their defense and semiconductors. So it was like you got this 1-2 punch from literally the Biden administration and Trump talking about something that would be looked at as a geopolitical concern with the semiconductor space, and all your semis got whacked on the back of that. NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, ASML had earnings, which were actually poor on their earnings. That stock was down big. Micron, Qualcomm, all these stocks went to the downside on the back of that. The one that popped was actually Intel, and that's because Intel is trying to be the foundry, semiconductor for here in the States, like Taiwan Semi is over there. And they're talking about trying to remove some of the red tape to try to bring more chip manufacturing stateside. That would be good for Intel. Intel actually was awarded $19 billion from the CHIPS Act to build a new chip processing and manufacturing facility here in the United States. So that's the reason why Intel moved to the upside, because people look at Intel as the stateside semiconductor producer, that wants to be the foundry here in the US. And that's why that stock actually moved up when all the rest of the semiconductors went down. That just pushed that profit taking into overdrive. And I think the market's got to a point where the Buffett indicator was at all-time highs. Now, the Buffett indicator, for those of you that don't know what that is, it's just a ratio that Warren Buffett uses to try to determine if he thinks stocks in general are expensive or cheap. And it calculates, it just looks at basically the ratio between the entire market cap of the S&P versus the GDP of the United States. Okay. And when that number moves too high, it's considered that that stocks in general, that the market as a whole is overbought, or it is expensive, rather, not necessarily overbought, but it's expensive from a valuation standpoint. Other times in history that the Warren Buffett indicator peaked and topped out, showing that there was an overbought and expensive market, was prior to the dot-com bubble and prior to the 2008 financial crisis. Those are also instances where it was topping out, showing, new highs. Well, last week, that indicator went higher than it was back in 2008 and back during the 2001. So it's higher than it was during that time period, which means that the market cap of the S&P is too high relative to the GDP of the United States. Okay. Now, a lot of that expensiveness has to do with expectations of earnings growth. Earnings growth for 2025 are actually pretty optimistic. I think they're too optimistic, to be quite honest with you. I'm more concerned about 2025 than I am 2024. And we'll talk about that as we get closer to the end of the year. And I'll talk to my members about that when I put out my 2025 market outlook report. Every year I put out these market outlook reports for our members that people have access to. We'll talk about that as the year goes on. But I'm more worried about next year than I am this year. Pullbacks that you get this year, I actually think are viable. And then for rallies into the end of the year, I would expect actually weakness here, August, September, maybe bottom out September, October, and then rally November, December into the end of the year. You have the election, then you have seasonality, Santa Claus rally into the end of the year, and then you roll into next year. And then I think some things start to change a little bit. Okay. Jim Z91 says, guys, you who joined TTG recently, are you trading options or equities? My TTG fam, comment in chat. What do you guys trade, equities or options? My TTG fam, what do you guys trade, equities or options? How about Jim's 91? Jim's 91 is curious, guys. Do we trade equities or options? My teaching members, just comment in chat what you guys trade, please. We do it all, Jim's. We do it all. We trade stocks, options, futures. We do it all. And you want to actually know what's the most important? You want to know what's the most important part? It's not what you trade. It's what the result is of what you trade. And that's to make money. That's the whole point of us being here. And that's exactly what our members do. And here, here's another question for my members. Members, do me a favor. Type the number 1 if you guys are making money and you're becoming better traders today. Just go ahead. If you guys are making money, you're becoming better traders because of TTG, go ahead and type the number 1. Type the number 1 again. Members, if you guys are making money with us. Way to go. Taking profits. Made $500 today in just 35 minutes. Look at that. Find me somewhere else you can make $500 in 35 minutes. Here you can see all these people typing the number 1. Okay. All these people typing the number 1. These are your friends, your family members, your coworkers. If they can do this, so can you. They're not all sitting at home in front of their computer all day, every day. 82% of our members have full-time jobs. So you download the mobile app, you get notified whenever our moderators enter and exit a position. Robert Alvarado made $1,000 before 10 a.m. Irene made $1,700 and then she went to the gym. Susie Laurie made 109% on a Pepsi option trade. Yeah. So yeah, these guys, if these people can, okay, there you go. I was just going to say, Adam, I was like, Adam, I saw your message and I was like, I'm not even going to read that because that's not even possible. It's like, I was like, that's not even possible. Because I'm not even going to read that. But it was a typo. He meant to put the $sign instead the number 4 came out. And the comment read, I turned $334 in 3 weeks. I'm up to 410,500. No, Adam, I'm saying the 400. You meant to put a $sign, not for it to be 10,000, not 410,000. That's why when I saw the comment, I was like, yeah, no way, dude. No way you turned $334 into 410 grand in 3 weeks. But there was a typo there. It's $10,000. So, Adam, congratulations, bro. That's a hell of an accomplishment, man. That's a hell of an accomplishment. Really great job. Really great job. Really great job. Congrats, Adam. That's incredible, man. It really is. My boy Rhino, what's up, brother? He goes, I've made $800 to $1,000 every night this week so far when I get home from work. I run a business. I haven't had time to trade during the day, and that's the beauty of futures. That is a beauty of futures. Great job. All right. So, folks, here's the deal. All of you that are not members, actually, if you guys are on this live and you're not a member, I'm going to do something real special for you, something that I haven't done. I'm going to give you guys a chance to join our trial for 7 days, actually totally free. Go to ttgtrial.com. That's ttgtrial.com. That's ttgtrial.com. Okay. That's ttgtrial.com. TTGTRIAL. If you're not a member, go join our trial. Get your button chat. You get 7 trading days with us, not 7 calendar days, 7 trading days. My boy Beach Bum says I made 42% of my account today. Then I took off at noon to take my granddaughter for ice cream. Nothing like a 42% gain on the account and some nice ice cold ice cream on a hot summer day to make your day. There you go, Beach Bum. Great job. Next year will be an independent trader. My boy Mitesh Patel is going for the full-time trader mark. I love it. I love it. All right. So, folks, these are all the things that are possible. All right. They are possible. Our members are doing it. See for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Go to ttgtrial.com and then get your butt in chat. Stop missing out on some of these moves, guys. Also, we've got the NFLX conference call. It's going to be kicking up here in just a moment. We'll see what this is going to do. We'll see what this is going to do to NFLX. I made 100% gains on SPY puts today. BX Packy, great job. My boy Tim. What's up, brother? All right, so there is Tim. Yeah, to go over the rubber band support that we talked about in chat for those that previously same issue as me. Yes, okay, perfect. So Timmy. So Timmy is actually asked a question today inside of chat. It was a very good question. And the question was, Mike, do you are support and resistance levels more like rubber bands or are they more like concrete? And what he means by that is it like concrete, meaning that if you have support at $100, that's it. It won't break $100 at all. Or is it a rubber band and you can like kind of push through and then snap yourself back? The answer is it's a rubber band, and it will always be a rubber band because support and resistance is not a finite price. They are ranges. They are zones. It's our job as traders to identify how wide those zones of resistance and support are. Okay? The more volatile the stock, the wider those ranges are. Coinbase has much wider support and resistance than Palantir. Tesla has much wider resistance and much wider support than DraftKings, right? So these are the things that you guys have to start to understand as traders. It's our job to identify the width of those zones. All right, so it was a wonderful question. Maddie says, as the economy slows, do you think small cap move is sustainable? Won't the earnings be with the large caps? Maddie, you're 100% spot on, and you're correct. I think that as the economy slows, I don't think that the move in small caps is sustainable. You are correct. Listen, in order for here's the way you have to think about it. I'm just going to give you the whole, like, from a outside looking in. If you believe that the move in small caps and the Russell has legs, and I mean legs meaning like for the next 6 months, you have to believe that there will 100% be a soft landing, or maybe just not even no landing at all. If you were to, let's say there was a recession next year, it's possible. Right now, it doesn't seem like the most likely scenario, and it's not the most likely scenario, but just because it's not likely doesn't mean it's not possible. Anyone that plays poker knows that on the flop, you might only have an 18% chance of winning, but then by the turn, now you have a 46% chance, and by the river, you've got an 86% or 100% chance of winning. Like, you guys have seen all that stuff happen before for my poker players. But if the economy were to slow to a point of concern, then the small caps are going to do very poorly. Okay. Small caps are extremely sensitive to interest rates, which is why they've moved higher over the last week after we got the CPI number, because the CPI number told everybody that that's it. We're going to get rate cuts in September. You had a weak labor market report the week prior. Then you had a lower than expected CPI number that gave the market complete confidence. First rate cut comes in September. Then you saw profit taking in tech names. You saw a rotation. People took profit in the top performing tech names, and they rolled that money into other areas of the market that are interest rate sensitive, that are undervalued at this current point, that have not participated in the rally, because that's where they think you're going to see opportunities later into the year as interest rates start to come down. Okay. So I don't necessarily want to be like overweight small caps in my long-term portfolio. I think you can treat that more of a trade, but where it's at for the next decade, my opinion, it's AI, it's tech, it's cloud computing, it's quantum computing, it's cybersecurity, that's where it is for the next decade, in my opinion. Do you think the biggest risk is AI spending not living up to the hype in earnings, or a recession? The biggest risk is a recession, I would say, Matt, because if the biggest risk is AI spending not living up to the hype, you'll just see more of a rotation. And I think it'll become a stock pickers market, because if the economy holds up, you'll see, financials, you'll see consumer staples, you'll see other healthcare do well. You'll see tech get hurt if AI spending slows down, but the economy does well. If the economy goes into a recession, everything's going to go down. So I would say the bigger risk would be recession than a slowdown in AI spending. Now, I do think that the slowdown in AI spending is coming. And that's probably a 2025 story. What I also think is, and guys, you're starting to get a move higher here. I'm not listening to the Netflix conference call, but you are getting a little bit of a move higher here on Netflix, as Netflix is now back to $6.39. We have to welcome Nate, Ian, and Mike, some new trial members, guys. Welcome to the trial. Nate, Ian, and Mike, welcome. Anybody else that's not a member of the trial yet, go to ttgtrial.com. It's free. Join us for 7 trading days and see what we're all about. Nate, Ian, and Mike, welcome to the trial. But yeah, I do think that AI spending is going to slow down. I do think it's going to slow down. And then that's going to mean slower earnings growth for your semiconductors. And that means a pullback. And then for all of you that have been crying and upset that they don't own NVIDIA, they don't own Broadcom, they don't own ARM, they don't own SMCI, they don't own AMD, they're all of you that are upset you don't own these stocks. When that pullback happens, you got to be a buyer. Because at some point, all those semiconductor stocks are going to have deep pullbacks when it looks like AI spending has slowed down. That's going to be your buying opportunity. So make a mental note that when you start to hear people on CNBC and on social media talking about, AI spending slowing down and was AI really just hype? Was AI a bubble? When you start to hear people say, was AI a bubble? That's your chance to buy. That means that at that moment, semiconductors are so incredibly out of favor that nobody wants them. Everybody's worried that AI was a bubble. It's not. And then you're going to be able to go in, you're going to buy those stocks at cheap price points, and then they're going to come back to life in the next couple of years, and then the AI revolution will continue. So when you hear that commentary, when you hear that type of discussion, that's your chance to start buying. Do I think Snow is a good ad around 125? BB Nation, so I own Snowflake just underneath 117. Do I think Snowflake is a good ad at 125? I think it's an okay spot for a tier one. I like Snowflake. It's just, I do think Snowflake goes lower. I do think Snowflake breaks the all-time low. I do think Snowflake goes underneath $100 in the next year. But at that time, I'm going to look to buy more when all of that AI negative conversation begins. Because here's the way that I look at software. Stocks like Snowflake, Datadog. When it comes to AI, we are in the very early stages of AI. I want you to think of the AI industry as if you were building a house. When you build a house, the first thing you need to do is pour the concrete foundation and put up the wood framing. So all of your money in the beginning of the building a house stage goes towards those materials. I want you to think of the concrete foundation and the wood framing as semiconductor chips. But once the house is built, now it's time to decorate it. You got to put art on the wall. You got to put furniture in the rooms. I want you to think of the furniture and the decorations as the software. So you have this massive ramp up in hardware spending for AI so that these companies could acquire the chips necessary to power these AI operations and to build out their AI capabilities. Once that is in place, the spend is going to start to shift to software. That's my thoughts. Okay, those are my thoughts. All right. Is MicroStrategy software going to benefit from AI? Ali, I got to be honest with you, brother. I have real doubts on MicroStrategy's software future, not because I think their product is terrible. I just don't think their management is focused on it. I feel like Michael Saylor has become so incredibly fixated on crypto that sometimes people even forget that MicroStrategy is a software company. And I'm not sure. I haven't even heard them talk about their software. I also haven't paid much attention to MicroStrategy, if just to be completely fair and being honest with you guys. But I haven't heard much about MicroStrategy software business. All you hear when you talk about MicroStrategy, all you hear about is crypto. All you hear about is Bitcoin. All you hear about is Michael Saylor. You don't hear anything about their software. So, good for crypto bulls. But if you're looking for software opportunities, I think you're better off looking at other pure play software names than a MicroStrategy, because I think MicroStrategy owns so much Bitcoin that regardless of their software business, if Bitcoin was to go back to 35K, MicroStrategy is going to go down. It's going to go down a lot. So I just think that the stock moves more so on Bitcoin than it does its software business. So like the real driver behind the price action of that stock, I think, is crypto, not their software business. Now, that could change over time, but as it stands right now, I think that's the case. We had to welcome Felicia. Felicia's a new trial member. Everybody welcome Felicia. Felicia's a new member to the trial. Guys, again, join our trial. Go to ttgtrial.com. That's ttgtrial.com. That's ttgtrial.com. Join our trial. Wow. Nicola says, with TTG, I was able to turn $10,000 into $108,000 during the school year, 9 months, trading during my classes. It only took 63 trading days, and I showed my successes to my economics teacher. That's incredible. Nicola, great job, man. Really great job. Congrats. Congrats. I love it. I absolutely love it. Very young, too. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, guys. So Netflix, like I said, I told you earlier, I did kind of think that Netflix might bounce back, and you're trying to here during this conference call. Now back to 641, basically flat on the day, or flat in the after hours, flat on the earnings, still down 1% on the day, but right back to where it was previous to the earnings report. We closed at 643. Now you're back to 641. So you're basically flat. All right, folks, that does it here for me. We've got a mentor class session with Shai starting up in 1 minute. So everyone that is in Shai's mentor program, that's starting up here in just 1 minute at 5 p.m. So you guys all go ahead and enjoy the mentor program with Shai. Shai is one of our professional trading moderators, has been an absolute monster tear. The last 2 days, just I think the biggest 2-day stretch for Shai this year, and I think also the biggest week of the year P&L wise for Shai this week. It's just an unbelievable week. She's caught some monster trades. So everyone, look forward to that session. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see my crew at 7:30. Enjoy. All of you that are not trial members, get your butts in chat. Stop hearing about this stuff after the fact. Be with us live. Hear when we're in and out of our trades live. Get notified on your cell phone if you're not in front of your computer. Download the mobile app. Become a trial, see what it's like to be part of the community, and join 10,000 members from 115 different countries and see what's up. ttgtrial.com. It's free. I'll see you guys all in chat. Take care, folks. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.